Questions. Knowledge is a powerful tool. Knowledge is a powerful tool. It is the master of your tools. It is where your tools come from, because without knowledge, there is nothing. Let's take that one step further. Knowledge is the ultimate weapon. It trumps all other weapons. Thought is what wins. The mind is what wins. Knowledge is what wins. And you gain knowledge by asking questions. Which question should you ask? Simple. Question everything. Don't accept anything as truth. Question it all. When you don't understand a word, get out the dictionary. When you don't understand a concept, break it down until you do. When you don't know how something works, dig in it until you do. Ask every question that comes to mind. This is how you learn. And most important, question yourself. Question yourself every day. Ask yourself, who am I? What have I learned? What have I created? What forward progress have I made? Who have I helped? What am I doing to improve myself today, to get better, faster, stronger, healthier, smarter? Is this what I want to be? This? Is this all I've got? Is this everything I can give? Is this going to be my life? Do I accept that? Ask yourself those questions, those hard questions, and answer them truthfully. And realize that all of us can do better. We can be better. And it starts when you begin to ask those questions. So ask the hard questions of yourself and find the path to progress and discipline and freedom inside the answers. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you guys come in. Welcome to Bitcoin Talk Show. My name is Thomas Hunt. It's June 19th. I was just reading a little bit of Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual by Jocko Willink. And Jocko used to be a Navy SEAL. He's a very serious dude, hardcore military guy, but he has a lot of good advice, even just for normal people in this book. Parts of it, I mean, but the back is the back section's all workouts, and some of the workouts are quite extreme. I don't know if you're ready to do the kind of things that Jocko's able to do and capable of doing. But the intro is really good. There's a lot of positive things about how to think through problems, how Navy SEALs think about problems, how Jocko himself thinks about problems. But enough of that. Let's get on with today's Bitcoin news and see what's happening in the world of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin was up 0.45% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 6,739, a high of 6,824, and a low of 6,674. That's $1 for 14,837 Satoshis. And our top story, Bitcoin jumps after New York approves Square's Cash app for crypto trading. That's right, good news for Bitcoin. But is it enough good news? Investors turn bullish as cryptocurrency market adds $12 billion in 24 hours, according to CCN. Breathing room, but not entirely optimistic. The headline, bullish. The actual article, not entirely optimistic. Oh well. But as you can see, we have risen a little bit. Let's look back at the charts here. Here's a chart. Boom. Loading. We have risen a little bit, but we have not broken above 6,800. If you see right here, we did go above 6,800 to 6,850. Right here, it went to about 6,806. But as you can see, it retreats both times. So there seems to be a wall at 6,800. I know some people are calling this bullish already. For me, you're going to have to break 6,800 or maybe even 7,000 to have a true return to bullish form. Remember, the main line for myself that we want to watch is that line where you connect all the lows. If we connect all the lows, it is starting to look like a possible green recovery. The line is right 1, 2, 3. It's right about there. But you see, he's got to go up more. He's got to go up to really break out of this down. But you can have your own opinions on that and let me know what they are in the chat. More news. Bitcoin volatility has plummeted. And that could be, no one knows anything, even in a headline, that could be signaling a bottom, Market Watcher says. Let's see who the Market Watcher is. Coming back down to earth, levels to watch. 6,000 a coin holds. The upside, 10,000 is a crucial line in the sand. 6-month downtrend remains intact until a close above 1130 or 11,300, sorry. The near-term downtrend remains intact until a close above 8,500. So let's see. Has Bitcoin found a bottom? I'll try to be positive. 52% yes, but 48 no. Only 260 votes. Not very impressive for CNBC, but let's keep going. 7,000. Bitcoin price looks north after 6-day high. Despite the bearish chart setup, Bitcoin rose to a 6-day high on Monday, putting a corrective rally to 7,000 back on the map. Let's see. Price-defying action boosted the odds of a rally to 7,000. However, the long-run outlook remains bearish for now. So CoinDesk is agreeing with me. Despite this positive move, we are still possibly bearish. No one knows. The view, Bitcoin looks to take out immediate resistance at 6,736 and rally towards 7,000, the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement of the drop from 9,900 to 6,100. A daily close above that level would open the doors to 7,500, 7,600. Although the rally could be short-lived, as the long-run technicals are still biased to the bears. Bearish scenario, a sell-off to 6,000 could still happen this week if Bitcoin closes below the 10-day moving average, 6,582 today. And right now it's at 6,741, about $200 above that 6,500 point that we will be keeping an eye on today. We've had two nice runs. We've had some decent volume in the buys here. We've also had some decent volume in the sells and a period of low volume. All in all, I'd like to see more volume on Bitcoin trading. When we were going through previous bear runs, we had tons more volume, not just on Bitstamp, but on all the exchanges. We are keeping an eye on this situation, and we'll see what you have to say in the chat shortly. Moving on, Bitcoin futures are causing Bitcoin's gut-wrenching decline, says Fundstrat head. Tom Lee believes that futures expirations are negatively affecting the price of Bitcoin. He says that significant volatility on the CME and CBO exchanges have been awful. He says that Bitcoin falls when there's an impending expiration on the CBOE futures. There have been 6 expirations since the launch of the futures. The most recent one happened on June 13th, not too long ago. Bitcoin fell 18% during the 10-day period preceding the last expiration. So it looks like the traders, if they're long Bitcoin and want to short the futures, as the contracts move to expiring, holders may sell a large share of their coins at the volume-weighted average price to minimize a tracking error. However, the holder may want to sell their remaining Bitcoin to cause a drop in price, which will in turn cause the short position in the futures to close at a more positive position. So we are seeing possible market manipulation, although possible legal market manipulation from the futures market. The Bitcoin generation. Not sure how much of this article I'm going to read. As the song says, everyone's trying to keep us down. Okay, not true. As the song says, people try to put us down. It never says everyone. So learn the lyrics to My Generation before you title your article The Bitcoin Generation. That's my first tip. Also, I don't know who wrote this article. Excuse me. It says Allison McGuire here, but it says written by Nick Ayton here. So either way, he didn't write the Who song. It is neat. You can listen to this article. Excuse me. It starts out pretty good. It says business, government, and society have a big issue. It's called the Bitcoin generation. Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, decentralization is more than just a technology. It's a global movement. It is a structural change not only to commerce, but how the resources of our planet will ultimately be shared out. It matters and will change all things. It may even save mankind. Very nice. Then she starts talking about the 60s, and we all know about the 60s and how people wanted to gain control of their lives and make their own decisions. As she continues down here, the parallels between the 1960s revolution and Bitcoin are uncanny. Bitcoin is again encouraging the permissive society, fueled by the underlying decentralized blockchain tech and led by new heroes who have emerged with rock star like profiles led by, this gets a little questionable here, Vitalik Buterin, Roger Ver, Andreas Antonopoulos, Eric Voorhees, and many others. Pioneers with a voice who are pushing this community forward and cannot be silenced. Especially this guy. He just buys domain names and won't shut up. The revolution is becoming louder as people from all over the globe discover that joining the Bitcoin movement offers new freedoms to control their own finances, their identities, and take back control. Sounds pretty good. No one wants a centralized surveillance society. She's a 60s kid, but she likes Bitcoin. She says, "This is our time. If you know anything about Bitcoin and you get it, like it, own it. You're already part of the Bitcoin generation and we need you. 50 years from now, this time will be seen as a historical landmark, a time when society woke from the Orwellian dream, when the establishment was rocked, and then everything changed. This time it's different. The power of sending money to someone without going through a central banking system is profound, a transaction that cannot be tampered with by dark forces. Be under no illusion. Bitcoin has rocked the people in power to their core, and they don't know what to do next. Society will structurally change." Powerful message. She also says Bitcoiners are unemployable. There are a couple of issues. When people realize they've been sold a lie and that Bitcoin offers something different, they want to take back control. The liberation journey often begins by offering new tools to create your own economy, be your own bank, and trade the value you hold without friction. This is the crypto way. Millennials don't want to work 9 to 5 sitting in an office or commute to work. They demand the flexibility to do other things and live an entirely different lifestyle, with many becoming digital nomads. Impressive. As she continues down below, then we have Generation Z. They have few social skills, can't look you in the eye, and many have digital dementia. I don't know what that means. Dementia? Which will have a profound impact on the workforce. It's all changing before our very eyes. Technology liberates the information, making everything accessible. Sometimes states don't want this, like North Korea or China, as governments concentrate power more than the Western economies who do allow allegedly free markets to work and for people to make some money. The extraction economy preferring to keep the people dumb and in the dark as they rely on ignorance to be strengthened. And for government, this means they embed it all at once. Bitcoin is part of a tech wave that I call all at once, where the Bitcoin blockchain is one of many several technologies that by themselves will have a profound impact. Deep learning, virtual reality, quantum computing, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, robotics, and therefore the magnitude of change we can expect will dwarf anything we have seen so far. I have some idea of the impact of these technologies, but all at once in a decentralized model is the most interesting and the most scary for some. Think elitism, the establishment, the upper class, royalty. These are intertwined through history with politics that set the rules, make laws, and decide how they want the people to behave. These constructs are all centralized, like managing a business where the hierarchy within a capitalist system allows the resources and wealth to be owned by a handful and dictates the dissemination of power that flows from the top to the bottom of any organization. That is until you build a decentralized or autonomous DAO, a business where rules, consensus, and decisions are handled differently, where responsibility and benefits are shared, and behavior is set by consensus. Where do we go from here? The politics of government has no accountability. Too many things decided behind closed doors. Too many lies by those with vested interests fed by a capitalist model that is fundamentally unsafe. It is Bitcoin's time to shine. Although in Act 1, Scene 2, we expect the Bitcoin generation to do great things. And I look forward to Act 5, Scene 4 of the story in years to come. Ignorance is what they rely on. don't feed it. An interesting and positive article about the Bitcoin generation, even though they don't know the lyrics to the song. $1 million box conjures up a fortune for Bitcoin visionary. That's right. Bitfury is mining out of these storage containers and making millions of dollars. They have more than 100 block boxes. The units, which extract 15 tokens a month on average, have helped Bitfury quintuple its revenue for the latest 12-month period to $450 million in cash and cryptocurrency, a result that he expects to double this year, regardless of Bitcoin's volatility. We realized that our data centers needed to be mobile, to be both somewhere and anywhere, Valyov said in an interview with the capital of Ukraine, one of the 16 countries where his 500 employees are based. The Latvian native was returning to the two biggest hurdles in conjuring up Bitcoins: uncertainty over how governments will treat the craze and the constant hunt for cheap electricity, the main expense in solving the calculations that produce tokens. China, where the bulk of Bitcoins are produced, has cracked down on mining, in part because of the stresses to the national grid, whereas Euro area Estonia has toyed with the idea of creating its own cryptocurrency. One block box, we're talking about an entire storage container here, holds 100,000 chips, and Bitfury peddles millions more a year to third parties for as little as $5 a piece. Valyov estimates that the chipsy manufacturers in Taiwan account for 15% of all Bitcoins generated, with a quarter of those coming from the company's own hubs in Iceland, Norway, Canada, and Georgia. Interesting story about Bitcoin and the $1 million bit block boxes being made by Bitfury. India, former legislator in Bitcoin extortion case declared proclaimed offender. Okay. But it sounds like someone in the case was declared an offender when really they were just observing the case. So very unclear headline. Let's see what's happening. There's a Bitcoin extortion case, and the Indian court declared former member of the Legislative Assembly a proclaimed offender. I'm not sure what proclaimed means. In connection with a Bitcoin extortion case amounting to a $1.3 million theft. It was an offender or absconder under Section 82 of the Criminal Procedure Code in a reference, untraceable even after a warrant was issued for his arrest. So it does seem a proclaimed offender is procedure of the court, which the court announces the individual as a wrongdoer and compels police to apprehend the individual in the procedure. The passport of the wrongdoer is also confiscated so they might not flee the country. So he has to appear in the court in 30 days. So basically, it sounds like this legislator or former legislator is somehow involved in the $1.3 million extorted from here. They pressured him. That the person was involved and pressured him to pay the ransom. Very interesting story developing in India. Again, nothing really to do with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just something of value that they stole from one another. Bitcoin didn't break, and codes didn't break, the keys didn't break, none of that. Just another crime surrounded around by something valuable. Finally, a good place to put your Bitcoin. Institutional grade custodianship for crypto might open new doors for investors if you can't trust yourself. Oh, they're calling Bitcoin slippery and toxic like oil. If you want to buy oil, where do you sell it? Where do you hold it? It's not so hard to hold Bitcoins. I put some in a paper wallet years ago. They're still there. It was really hard. You could put it in a Trezor or a Ledger for about $200. Come on. This is just nonsense. Yeah, getting hacked, blah, blah, blah. All right, so whatever. Let's move on to the Goodreads reading challenge. I am up to 12 books. I did just finish Russell Brand's Revolution, and I've started a new book already. So let's go to the camera. Computer. Hello. All right, so here it is, Russell Brand, Revolution. I liked it. I wouldn't title my book Revolution if it wasn't, Well, I'd expect a book titled Revolution to have a more straightforward path to revolution. We want to do a revolution. Bing, 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 bing. Revolution, the book. This was not that. I like Russell. I think he's trying to do a good thing here. But really, it was, and he talked about it in the book. I'm stealing from him, but it was kind of like My Bookie Wook 3. And since I have read Russell Brand's other books, My Bookie Wook and My Bookie Wook 2, both of which are more about his life and his struggles with addiction and sex addiction and alcohol and drugs and everything else that has gone on in his brief but exciting existence. And this one's more like My Bookie Wook 3. Russell asks his friends about how they would change the world. Still interesting, still an interesting book. I mean, he has some cool friends. They have some cool ideas on how to change the world. It was great to see liquid democracy mentioned in a book. This is from 2014. 2014, a little early for Russell to be into Bitcoins, though I think I was tweeting him about it, and certainly I tried to change tip him for sure. And I would like to see Bitcoin mentioned in a book about revolution. I suppose that's kind of a 2018 thought. It's unfair to judge 2014 Russell by that. But a revolution book without Bitcoin is not much of a revolution. Now I'm reading a new book, the unauthorized biography of Sacha Baron Cohen, creator of Ali G and Borat. So I think that's going to be good. I want to hear how he got his start. It's pretty strange. He was at Cambridge studying history, much like myself. He wrote his dissertation, got some cool interviews. He wrote it on a fascinating topic. Just recap. During the African-American civil rights struggle, a lot of Jewish people helped and contributed and felt like they were in a partnership with the African-American people. Afterwards, though, because the Jewish people were volunteering for groups like the Southern Christian Poverty Rights Center, things like that, they were Christian groups. The African-American people thought that they were just white liberals. They didn't think that they were Jewish people. So on one side, they felt they had this camaraderie and connection, and on the other side, they didn't. So it was an interesting paper, and he went and got this really cool interview with somebody that was there and involved in the events and really had a great, contribution, something to add to his paper and to the discussion of this history. And it was really fascinating. They said in the thing, they were like, no one could get an interview with this guy, but somehow Ali G did. And it really shows what he did in the future, getting all of those celebrity interviews, embarrassing them, making them happy, various things. But I think it's going to be good. I'm going to check it out. It looks like a good book. And I got it for $3 at the Friends of the Library in San Francisco. So can't complain. We've got the Bitcoin meetup here in Las Vegas. Come on down this Thursday at 7 p.m. at Rustica Pizza on Tropicana Avenue in Las Vegas. Join Bitcoin Las Vegas at bitcoinlasvegas.org. The fastest growing Bitcoin meetup in the world. Well, maybe not yet, but I'm going to keep saying that. If you've got some extra Bitcoin and you'd like to donate, you could scan the QR code on your screen right now and donate soon. We are working on adding altcoin addresses. I did get a new Trezor that offers several altcoins, and I will be offering those soon if you'd like to donate some altcoins. We did have some Bitcoin donations just yesterday. We had donor, oh, come on, thing work, 0.00069,116, 0.00863326, and 0.00718267. Thanks so much for donating and supporting the show. Also, thanks to our Patreon supporters. We have a little bit more of my book to read later. I want to give a shout out to DJ Booth, who's working on Scam Clerk, a very cool software that will let people block all of these impersonators on Twitter, the people that are saying Ethereum giveaway, 1,000, 10,000 free Ethereum, blah, blah, blah. We can block all those people now. So good work, DJ Booth. Let's keep working on that. I got an update on my phone. I can finally use the Cash app. Everybody's like, it's so easy. You just swipe to the left and then you can buy Bitcoin. And I was like, I swipe to the left, nothing happens. I swipe to the left again, nothing happens. I'm reading instruction manuals. I'm trying to figure out the program. And it turns out I just didn't have the right update yet. So thanks to Cash app, it was very easy. You could buy, $5, $10 worth of Bitcoin. I think the obvious thing to add to this app is dollar cost averaging, setting up recurring buys. As well as maybe making it like a Bitcoin wallet where you could send and receive Bitcoin. But, that's a side issue. I don't know. It's not really a side issue. It would be important if your wallet sent and received Bitcoin, but that maybe there's some legal issues, maybe there's some programming issues. There's definitely some theft issues there, but hopefully it will expand and get better. Good work from the Cash App people. Coming up on Wednesday, we've got Shem Booth Spain and Angry Dentist with legendary academic Saifdeen Ammous. Apologies if I said your name wrong, but check it out tomorrow right here on the World Crypto Network. The author of the Bitcoin Standard will be here. Ask your questions in the chat coming up on Wednesday. And now we're going to go and open up the talk lines. If you'd like to give us a call on Skype, World Crypto Network, all one word. We'll talk to you. Let us know what you think about Cash App, about dollar cost averaging, what you think about this market. Are we out? Are we out of the bear, or is the bear just waiting? As we've been talking, the price has declined just a little bit to 6,739. We did hit a high of 6,841. Is it enough? Are we out of the woods? As Taylor Swift would say, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. Let's see, other things going on. The number is install the application Skype and contact World Crypto Network, all one word. Skype is free. Calling World Crypto Network is free. All you need is headphones, microphone, a quiet room, maybe a glass of water, and remember to turn down your speaker or your YouTube before calling in. Otherwise, it will echo. But we'll try to keep this show going a little bit longer. Yes, you need Skype to call in. That's how Skype works. It's an amazing system that allows you to call in for free all over the world. Amazing. Yeah, I could get a phone number, but then the world couldn't call in. We want to hear from the world. This is the World Crypto Network. Here we go. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas. Scott from Utah.
Hey, Scott. How's it going? What do you think? Are we out of this bear market, or do we have to wait and see?
Probably not, I think. We might have another stab down, but I like the idea of just keep dollar cost averaging. One thing I was going to call in about was just I was out of town for a few days and then listened to a few shows and heard you talking about kind of some of the financial issues that you're going through. But
well, I'm doing fine. I've made some moves, and I'm watching this rally closely. And like everybody else that made some moves, I'm thinking about moving back in. But we just got to keep an eye on this, and everyone needs to just keep in mind, you got to have rent for the next 6 months, got to have rent for the next year. We just don't know what's going to happen with this market. So.
Yeah, and I obviously you're not like begging, but the reason I called was I thought I was listening to some of those call-ins and they were giving you some suggestions, and I thought to myself, well, we got to support Thomas. So today I went into your Patreon and signed up, and if everybody who appreciates you and looks forward to your shows just goes in there and pledges $1 or $2, just something really small, but there's a lot of us, I think that would probably make a difference. So that was the only thing I wanted to call about, was just to let everybody know that it's really easy to sign up for Patreon and to go in and do like $1 or $2 a month and support Thomas, so he doesn't have to sell his Bitcoin to pay rent.
That would be great, Scott. If we could get, in the $1,000 to $2,000 a month coming in from the Patreon range, I would certainly not even look at selling my Bitcoin. But yeah, if everyone joined at $2 or $5 a month, something like that, and if 100 people did it or 1,000 people did it, yeah, I would stop a lot of fundraising. So.
Just a quick question. So there's 2 pages there. There's the World Crypto Network, and then you've got your own Mad Bitcoins. I assume what is the World Crypto Network Patreon? Is that for the whole operation, right, essentially, or?
Right now they're pretty much the same. I had the Mad Bitcoins one where I was just raising for myself personally, and then I started the World Crypto Network one to see if that one would take off, just as an experiment. And we do have some expenses at the World Crypto Network. We pay for the domain name. We pay for the audio podcast, things like that. So we do spend a little bit of money there. But for right now, those are both generally going to me. So.
Okay, great. Well, I signed up for both, and I recommend that everybody out there who appreciates Thomas and the World Crypto Network and all the great work they do to do the same. So thanks, Thomas.
Thanks so much, Scott. Give us a call anytime.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, and you can call us now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. Here we go. Oh, somebody. Oh, it was Scott again. All right. Well, yeah, it's great to support independent creators. I know some people say it's begging and they get negative about it. I think of it more as I'm working for free. And if you like what I do, you can support me. I've always thought of this as voluntarism, where if you like this, you support it. If you don't like it, don't support it. And again, you're voluntary. Like if you go and give me $10 or you donate or something, that's your choice to donate. I appreciate it. I think it's great. I think more people should donate. But I'm certainly not forcing you to donate. It's not compulsory. But even just a couple bucks a month helps out the show. So, but we're talking about Bitcoin today, keeping an eye on the markets. It's in the 6,700 range right now. Looking for something to happen. Previously, we were trading what felt kind of like sideways or even sideways down. Then we had this little breakout, and we just don't know if this is the little breakout that leads to the large breakout or the little breakout that leads to the retracement and the retreat, and then maybe a large breakout. That's what I love about these bottoms. Everyone's like, it'll go to 5,000 and then it'll go to 60K. And I'm just like, how could that happen? That's crazy. Like, and I've seen it happen. I'm not doubting these trade chart guys. I mean, a lot of the times they're right on these things, but still, to understand how something could be in a downturn in a negative market and then suddenly explode to 60K. So I don't know. We're keeping an eye on this. Some people think it's a bottom. Some people think we might dip again. I'm still, 70-30, sitting on the sidelines here, got a lemonade, not too concerned about it. And it's a bummer if it goes crazy up and I have less, but no worry. They're talking in the chat. Would I get a Lambo or a Tesla? Well, I mean, I'm a computer geek, so I'm always going to be with the Tesla. But for me, I might get a Prius or a Corolla. I'm a low cost, low fuel efficiency type guy. Not even about the environment, maybe just about being cheap and not wanting to spend money on gasoline. Maybe also about the environment too, but it's always seemed so amazing. Excuse me, I'm going to cough again. The the mixture of electric and gasoline hybrid in that Prius and the way that it does things like when you brake, it captures some of that energy and puts it back in the battery. Whew, I'm excited. That's exciting right there. I think that's super fun. I like the way it shows you the average of how you've been driving and how you push the button. But I kind of like the new Corolla. I rented one of those. It had a really cool touch screen interface for the car radio, and it synced with my phone really well. I thought it was pretty cool, and I know the Corolla is not a fancy car either. It's like 17K or something, but I think it was nice. We got some cool super chats in the chat. Thanks to Colonel Swan Jr. for donating $5, and thanks to We Smoke Bitcoin for donating $25. He says legalize weed, and he's already behind because it's legalized in Colorado, California, Nevada, quite a few other states too. It's getting better. They're saying we should sell WSend t-shirts and caps. I'm kind of into that. I don't know. I have the old eBay thing where I never want to have a box of things at my house to sell and ship again. I know they have services that sell and ship the t-shirts for you, but I'd work with that. The Crypto Bantam guys reached out to me a couple times, wants to do the hats. I think it sounds cool, but it's just so tough because not that I even think there's profit in there, but I would want my fair share of the profits. And how do I do that? And now I've got more business and arrangements to deal with. So, but hopefully I'll get it on Redbubble and get it going soon. Do some of that cool stuff. All right. ABC in the chat says last week he bought a new Corolla for one of his daughters, 19K flat. Nice. I like the new Corolla. I think it's even has a cool front to it too. Looks like a big mesh kind of air filtery thing. Very cool. And I love that new stereo. I thought that was dynamite. And it drives nice. I also tried the Nissan Versa as a rental car, and I just like Nissan Versa from the TV show Heroes. So that was pretty cool. Um, let's see. They're asking, is the Bitcoin donation address one you own, or is it a shared WCN thing? Oh, no, I own it. I mean, I also, for what it's worth, I own the WCN. I try to share it with people, and it's a shared network, and other people do their own thing. But I have the keys and stuff, so I created it. But I like to work with everybody. So let's see what else is going on. You can give us a call now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. Otherwise, I just might start reading to you again. I hate to do that, but I think it's really important. And if we do get to the end of the show, I'm going to read another section from my novel, which I need to make into an audio book, and then into a Kindle book, and then into a paperback, and then we could sell. So this is just a short cut for you from Russell Brand, Revolution. He says, my mate, Adam Curtis, and again, we're going to have to stop for like 10 minutes here. Russell is friends with Adam Curtis. I don't know if you guys know, you probably don't watch BBC documentaries like I do, but Adam Curtis made these fantastic documentaries. The Power of Nightmares. He tells about the rise of the Al-Qaeda leaders and what they believed. And then on the other side, he shows the rise of the neocon leaders in the United States and what they believe. And it's just a great, great film, The Power of Nightmares. He did another one called The Trap, and he talks about the situation of the 80s and the 90s and the 70s, even the Cold War. And he talks about how John Nash, star of the movie The Beautiful Mind, came up with this idea of game theory. And he basically posited, if I want to destroy the Soviet Union, therefore the Soviet Union wants to destroy me. And he came up with this whole thing where basically he was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he was in charge of our foreign policy. So we all became paranoid schizophrenics, and we believed that Russia was going to do the worst possible thing. And when they lined up all those mirrors around their missile to make it look like they had more missiles, that's exactly what we thought. We thought Russia had more missiles. We thought all the secret stuff, Russia hiding things, all the spies, they spread a lot of rumors, and we believed every rumor. When you create the enemy from yourself, you create the worst version of the enemy, and that's what we did in Adam Curtis's movie, The Trap. My other favorite is It Felt Like a Kiss. I could watch that like 100 times. It's just fantastic. And he's got a new one that they talk about in here, and they're talking about in the chat, called The Century of Self. And I haven't seen it yet. I saw it in the book. I marked it down. I'm like, gotta see that. Love Adam Curtis's work. And he also has an incredible access to the film library. Something about the BBC or whatever, but he's got clips of everybody from everywhere. He's got clips of young Al-Qaeda people. He's got clips of 50s and 60s dances. It's a visual fest for the eyes, these magnificent Adam Curtis documentaries. So anyway, back to the quote. My mate, Adam Curtis, the documentary maker who I've gone on about a bit because of his amazing films and weird, clever, sweet personality, told me this. The problem with Marxism is that it placed economics at the heart of socialism. Ooh. The problem with Marxism is that it placed economics at the heart of socialism. Interesting. I thought that was a really great quote from Adam Curtis, and something interesting that we could talk about. I mean, people call me a socialism, and they're slamming Tom. He's a socialist. He's a statist. Whatever. My main thing is that I think we should help people. I know there's different ways to do that, and maybe government confuses and muddles that all up. But to me, it's like, if I help people, that's good. If I can help people on a larger scale, like 10 people, that's good. If I can help people on a huge scale, like 100 people or 1,000 people, that's really good, right? The way I see it. But if you try to use the government to do that, maybe you could help 1 million people. Conversely, maybe you screw up, maybe there's unintended consequences, or maybe you're acting duplicitously and you have no interest in actually helping people. So there can be downsides to trying to use the government to do this. But that's what I think he's talking about in this book, is that if we started socialism with just caring about your fellow man, not compulsory government forced caring about your fellow man, maybe it would be more acceptable. But maybe you're on the other side and you're saying, no, it's always a scam. It's always destructive. They're saying in the chat that the capitalistic system is the best way to help people. And I would say that's possibly true. I mean, there's some interesting things. On one hand, capitalism creates a system of winners and losers. So there's definitely losers. And a lot of what I'm talking about, a lot of what the socialist elements in capitalism are talking about is, what do we do with the losers? Do we have a safety net? European countries have lots of safety nets. American countries have less safety nets. But what I think they would say in the chat is, with capitalism, you help the most people. Apple Computer came out, sold computers, put one in my school, put one everywhere else, eventually came back to them, etc. Everyone has a computer now. The world is better, right? Even for people that don't have a computer, maybe. I mean, eventually iPhones, Androids got cheap enough. Everyone has one. The technology came to everyone. The goal of Apple was to sell the most computers. They're a capitalist company. They're trying to make money. They made profit. They sold their computers at a high cost. You know, that works. So yeah, this is the argument we're having. I'm open to both sides of this argument. I understand and I can express them. I think it's important to be able to devil's advocate another person's position, to put yourself in their shoes and to think about what they're thinking. And I try to see things from both sides. I make my own choices after I see things from both sides, but I think I gain a lot from trying to see that other side. And it's just about being thoughtful and open-minded and not just closed off. I've talked about this before, and I'll say it again, but a lot of people have closed off parts of their mind where the thinking has to stop. My personal blocks used to be around cars and around the human body. I didn't want to know anything. I just stop. I don't want to know. Now I'm older. I'm okay with learning about cars. I'm kind of forced to learn about the human body. As you get older, you have no choice. But I would say to other people that maybe have a block on religion or a block on economics, it's time to get through those blocks, right? It's time to break through those and to think. And maybe it hurts to think. And we talked about yesterday, thinking is hard. No one likes to do it. You could just outsource your thinking to someone else. And if they say the chart goes up, you just follow them, like a lemming or like a whatever, someone in a line. And that's one way to go. I don't think that's a great idea. But I think that thinking is the way to go. So they're saying socialists want free healthcare and university, so everyone's equal, but only for citizens. How hypocritical can you get? Well, I think they'd kind of want the entire world to go socialist, so maybe everyone could get free healthcare and university. And I think that's a complex one, the healthcare and the university issue. Healthcare, I mean, if you're really talking about capitalist, I would think kind of, I want the people to be healthy so they can work more so I can make more money. So free healthcare, I don't really see as a negative from a capitalist perspective. Remember going back to slavery, part of the things about the slavery system is that you own the slaves. So in that way, you would actually want to treat them well enough. In the new system of wage slavery that was created after the slavery system, we're talking about industrialization and factories here. You don't care about your worker because they're now replaceable. As horrible as that may sound, and I'm not supporting slavery, and I'm not saying it's a good thing here, but I am saying in comparison to wage slavery, you have an ownership stake in the person. Where in wage slavery, people are truly, forget it now, but independent parts or intermoving parts where you can just take one part out and put someone else in. So in that way, having the free healthcare would keep them healthy and they would work more for me. In the same way, it depends on what you think about university. If you think university improves people, leads them to better jobs, helps them think better through a series of exercises, then the more people I send to university, the more scientists and smart people I have, and the higher it goes up. So in those ways, I would see the healthcare and the university as potential positives for society. But again, like they're saying in the chat, it's not free. The cost is coming from somewhere. So if the cost, high taxes, whatever you want to say, is dragging down your society, then you have to judge the dragging down of the taxes versus the bringing up of the free healthcare and the free university. And you have to make a choice based upon those. But we're having lots of different opinions in the chat, and I'm glad to see everyone's talking about it and debating and putting their own opinions out there. So I think this is good. Say we're confusing slavery and indentured servitude. No, I mean, I'm just really talking, you know what I'm talking about, the wage slavery of the industrialist system, the minimum wage, the basic wage, and the reality that you can just be replaced. Uh, Indentured servitude, I'd say, is more on the slavery line, where I'd say you have an interest in the person. If they die before they pay back their 20 years of labor, then you lost money, right? So, I mean, sure, you can still grind them down. I'm not saying it's a great system or it's a good system. You know, you grind them down, but you want to get your 20 years work out of them. I'm just saying that's different than another system where, you can take care of the person because you own them, or you can just fire them because you get somebody else that's new. We're all interchangeable cogs. What do you think? What do you think about capitalism and socialism? Give us a call on World Crypto Network. All one word on Skype. No, I'm kidding. I know you don't want to call in and talk about capitalism and socialism. It's like a history class in here. But let's see what else we've got going today. We went through most of the news. We're keeping an eye on the Bitcoin charts. It's at 6,747. Let's see. Been watching some movies lately, but no good ones. I watched this crappy movie yesterday called Win a Date with Todd Hamilton. It was just as dumb as the title makes you sound. But it was free. It was on HBO or whatever. I like movies on cable because they don't have commercials. You can just put them on and pretend it's a real movie. So let's see. Scott says, read political philosophy or don't. Not my problem. I do think that it's funny because everyone has an opinion on this, but not everyone has an informed opinion, and not everyone's looking at both sides. I think even if you disagree, I want you to try to venture to see the other side and to see their argument and to see why they believe those things. And I think if you do that, you'll have a better chance of understanding them. So I was watching a video yesterday, kind of old, with Samson Mao and Roger Ver, and they're both on a stage. And a lot of people celebrated this video afterwards because they said that Samson won the debate and that Roger lost. And I was watching the first half, and I gotta say, Roger, for all of his excitement and his bombast, he's a great presenter. He shows up in a suit. He's well dressed. His hair is nicely cut. He does a good job with his presentation, and he's got his points down. Roger's been through this fight before. He's been through this argument before. He's ready to go. Samson's a good guy. I like Samson, but he was a little underdressed for this. He had tennis shoes on, a t-shirt, and a blazer, whereas Roger had a button-up shirt, was looking good. And they were having a debate, and they were going back and forth. And I think if I was watching at home for the first half, I would be a Bcash supporter. Roger was nailing it. He was just talking about how the vision had changed. He had all his points tightened up. But then there was a point where he lost it and he yelled and he went off the fence and he talked about Bcash, I think might have driven him out. And he just like explodes and yells and he starts talking about the dying babies and how it's destroying people's lives and all this stuff. Let's see if the caller wants to talk about it. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, met Pieter van Zandvoort from the Netherlands. Hi.
Hey, Peter. How's it going? What do you think about Bitcoin? Are we out of the woods yet?
Yeah, we're good, I guess. I have a question, Thomas.
All right, go ahead.
Price follows hash rate. Huh? What does that mean? Can you help me with that?
Well, I'm not 100% on that. I mean, I think the basic idea is that the miners keep investing, right? So 3 months ago, if you made a decision to buy a miner, you're still in the box, right? You've made your choice. Like it's being shipped here, you own it, you have to mine with it. So in that way, the fact that people are still adding to the hash rate is good for the Bitcoin price. Either the miners know something we don't know, or they're making an incredibly risky bet on the future. And you know how much money they're using to mine and how much it costs and everything. It's a big risky bet. So people don't make risky bets that risky, right? They usually have a reason for making that bet. When you look at like a boxing match and, you can trust the fixed fight, because it's a fix. So in that way, I would hope that price follows hash rate, but the miners could be wrong, right? The miners could be betting that Bitcoin goes up forever and that they're all good, and they could have made a risky bet and lost. So in that way, I don't think it would follow it. So I don't know how closely linked they are. What do you think?
Yeah. I saw a tweet of Max Kaiser, and he says my mantra since $3: price follows hash rate. If you don't understand this, then you don't understand Bitcoin. Sorry, but the facts, bro. Yeah, I don't understand what he's tweeting.
Yeah, I like Max, and I like all the other supportive and positive Bitcoiners. And I know we try to say positive things about Bitcoin, and we believe it. I believe Max believes it. I don't believe he's lying. But I also don't believe that if you looked back when the price crashes all those times, I don't think that the hash rate crashed. So I'd have a hard time really saying that those are 100% linked together. I think the hash rate generally just goes up. So if you want to just look at it from a 5-year, 10-year perspective, from that perspective, it's always following, but it's not directly correlated. It's not. I mean, when we crash, people don't turn off their miners, except maybe in that 2-year period where we were way down. I think the hash rate might have actually declined there. So yeah, I'd have to look at the chart to really see it. But I think Max is just kind of being positive, and from a long-term perspective, hash rate keeps going up, the price keeps going up, we're all good. So
Bitcoin difficulty, but I don't know what hash rate means.
hash rate is it's a mathematical equation of how many processors are online. So it's kind of like how fast we're cracking the code.
Okay.
Yeah, a hash is like a small piece of something. So it's like how often are we solving small pieces of something? So I think that's it. I mean, I'm not even sure I'm 100% accurate on that, but that's generally they're talking about how many mining computers are turned on. So Max is saying more people are turning on mining computers. The price always follows the more people turning on mining computers.
Okay. And that's, yeah, maybe it's true for Bitcoin, but for a lot of altcoins, I guess it's not true.
Sure. Well, and especially harder on the altcoins because you could spin up like a Amazon Web Services. A lot of people are doing that for their nodes on the Bitcoin Unlimited or Bitcoin ABC or Cash or any of these projects where you just buy a bunch of them and then your contracts run out and then suddenly a bunch of your nodes disappear. So that can be a problem.
But a lot of coins aren't mineable. Huh?
It depends on the coin. A lot of coins have to be mined with a GPU, a graphics card. A lot of coins have to be mined with an ASIC because there's so many other people trying to mine so many other computers on the network. You need a really fast one to get anything. And then some of them are more like proof of stake coins, things like that. I think you could mine with AWS, cloud mining, things like that.
Okay, yeah. Because I know Digibyte is UTXO blockchain, and when you filter CoinMarketCap on filter non-minables, those one you filter out, and then you see that Digibyte is on the CoinMarketCap. It's on the 17th place. And if you don't filter the non-minables out, then it's on the 49th place.
I wonder why it's non-mineable. I wonder if they've already mined it out. I know some of the coins, they would just mine them all in the beginning, and then the company has them, and that's it. Things like Ripple. So
yeah, they have 0.5 pre-mined, 0.5 Digibyte. And there's all open where those Digibytes went to. And now they are like 11 billion Digibytes can be mined now. And then in 2035, there are only 21 billion Digibytes available.
that sure sounds like a lot, 21 billion. But we'll have to see. I don't know that much about Digibyte, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's a good community, and it's just honest, just an honest blockchain. Not from somebody who isn't integrity and loyal to the project. Just honesty. Is a good guy, Jared Tate, the founder of Digibyte.
Well, that's very important. It's important not to be fooled by the marketing, or sometimes it can be shiny and great. But thanks so much for giving us a call, Peter. Give us a call
Yeah,
anytime.
he's from 2014. He has already the blockchain, so
Nice.
he's
Sounds good.
got
So
a lot,
check out
a lot
DigiByte.
coming in. Sorry.
Sorry, we gotta go. Let me give us a call anytime. Thanks, Peter.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye-bye. But yeah, check out DigiByte. Give us a call. Let us know what you think about DigiByte. I don't know that much about the altcoins. There's so many of them. I'm mainly into Bitcoin. But thanks so much, Peter, for your call. And you can give us a call on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. It's 8:35. We'll try to keep the show going for a little bit longer. I was going to do a reading of my book a little bit later, but we're talking about the price of Bitcoin, which is $6,752. $52. We were talking about socialism and capitalism in the chat. People are arguing which one's better, all that kind of thing. And then we were also talking about Roger Ver and Samson Mao and the great interview that they did on the stage there. And I would agree with somebody in the chat. They said that Samson looked very nervous. And Samson was exhibiting many public nervous tics. He was kind of rolling his hands. He was nervously moving his hands. He just looked uncomfortable. But when Roger launched into the killing babies thing and all that nonsense, it was a disaster. And he destroyed all of his credibility, and it just didn't make any sense. And he sounded like a child, crying and whining about the dead babies. And it was just really, really unfortunate. I thought he's a good speaker, and he's attached to a bad project, and I'm not sure why he can't think his way out. Maybe he's being forced or coerced to join this project. Maybe he made a bad move with some of his money and he doesn't have any money anymore, or they're holding his money hostage. I don't know. I don't know why Roger would do these things. It could just be he doesn't think about things very much. He's not very complex. Like we were talking about earlier, the ability to live in someone else's shoes. Why do they believe that? I'm not sure he has that. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas, it's Ricardo again from Paris.
Hey, Ricardo. How's it going? What do you think about Bitcoin
Good,
today?
man. Sunny. Really good, actually. I was just thinking about yesterday's episode with the FUD article that came out. And
Yeah.
look at today. It just went up 300.
There you go. FUD was wrong. Well, at least for today. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart, and I'm not a big chart guy or nothing, but I'm seeing some spikes. It's got big spikes at the top, and I'm like, why aren't these filled in? And
That's the thing. I watch a lot of people do charting, and it almost, when you watch it enough times, and even if you follow people that are charting on like what's the charting website I use? I can't think of it right now, but it's not Coinigy. Anyways, there's another website that I use for charting that's really big that you can follow a lot of other people who are doing it. But the Bitcoin charts are very volatile, and they don't really follow the Fibonacci. If you do the mathematics, they're a bit sporadic, and it does come around, but not to the exact 3s and the 6 and the 9. So I was like, this, because watching people graph is like, I don't know, listening to a bookie give you good odds on the horses and stuff that you don't know anything, because crypto is so new and it can be controlled and no one really knows what's going on. So especially if, let's say, an exchange closes or somebody does, let's say you have like a platform that's like a mining platform like Devor, BCC, and they back out, or there's so much going on with Bitcoin that you can't really graph it like you would stocks and utilities, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I would totally agree. Actually, in all the books on technical trading and all the manuals where they talk about this, they say one thing in the beginning. They say you shouldn't use this on emerging markets. It's really clear. Everyone's like 100%. Don't use this trading on emerging markets because, number one, a whale could just roll in with a bunch of money and roll the whole market. You have no idea. And the same way they could roll it up or down. The charts don't really mean anything because the volume is so thin. We're not really getting, like, we're trying to simulate trading here. We're trying to see they sell this, they sell that, I buy, they sell, I buy, all these things. They're not doing a really good simulation. It's not complex enough. There's not enough players involved. And that's why they say not to do this. So that's why when so many of these people say like they do it right? They're reading the books, they're putting the lines on the chart, and they're saying the lines say this, and then the market does the wrong thing. It's not because they did it wrong. It's because this stuff doesn't work on emerging markets. I'm not sure why anyone doesn't say that.
They're trying to apply rules to into an infallible. There's no concrete for Bitcoin at the moment. And you're right, it's just emerging market, even though it's been around for almost since 2009, I believe. It's been around for quite a while. It's still emerging, but also with the trades, there's so many of them, and it's a 24-hour market. And some places like China have tried to ban it, and parts of I believe South Korea tried to ban it as well. So when you have huge things like that, and you have all this FUD like yesterday, that's what's going to leave room for so much people to. I remember when I first got in, let's just example, I got some FUD and I was like, get out, or buy into this coin. And you realize with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I should probably, before you make a decision, like sit down and like make sure that your decision, like I have stop losses, you know what I mean? Have places where you're like, if it gets to this point, then I'm going to start buying it. If it gets to this point, then I'll start slowly selling.
I do like stop losses in theory, but in a market like this, they can drive it up and they can drive it down and they can wreck your stop losses. I would agree with the same idea. You might want to just have a plan. And this is what I did wrong the last time that we went up. I didn't have a plan for if it went up. And I also don't really have a plan for if it goes down. So I would say if it goes up 10%, sell 1%. If it goes up 20%, sell 2%. Some kind of a plan like this where you're like, and it's going down in the same way, like, it goes down 10%, maybe sell 2%. I mean, I don't know. Just have some kind of a strategy so that when things happen, you just go to your strategy and do what you want.
Absolutely. That's one thing I always say at the end of my content is tell people, whether or not you know what you're doing, have a strategy. I mean, like, just know that this is like a huge board game. And on one side is cryptocurrency and the other side is you. And you want to capture as much as you can. You want that flag. And you should always have a strategy what you're going to do. And if you're not ready to do that, then maybe don't buy in. Maybe don't sell. Maybe hodl. That's the best thing you can do. And this is something I always stress. The best thing you can financially do sometimes is to do nothing at all, because you're not losing or gaining. You're just watching. And that's why if you make a decision, make it without, don't freak out and run in and try to get on the first exchange. Take your time and maybe, like you said, dollar buy in, cost average, and selling as well. But one last thing I wanted to say really quick was about altcoins, because you had just said something and I was like, it's quite interesting. You don't need to switch your cryptocurrency back to fiat, because as you've been seeing, I don't know if you study the fiat currency, but I follow the euro and the US and a little bit of the Australian, not really too much in New Zealand, but I live there, so I studied that. But anyways, the point in case was you can take these cryptocurrency altcoins and you can hedge into them. I mean, I've taken a lot of my Bitcoin and I've taken a lot of my altcoins and I've consolidated it into an exchange coin. And if you look at all the coins, the exchange coins like QOB and Binance and there's a few other ones, but I haven't really looked at the other ones. They're doing great. I mean, that's what I'm doing, and I've only made money. So you realize that if you don't need to switch back to dollars or euros or whatever you were trading on. You can just go into exchange and use the exchange coin because it's doing great. Everybody's still using it. So there's solid coins, and I just like stumbled upon this while doing some research. And I'm always looking at the coins, and it's great to like look at what new platforms are out there, but I wouldn't recommend putting money into it unless you are the founder or you're the part of the team, because at this point things are so new. You just gotta let things catch on before you run for the newest thing.
Yeah, you just have to be careful. If you have an exchange coin, it sounds like you'd likely have to hold it on the exchange. So if they went away, your coins would go away.
That's the one thing about it.
Yeah,
it's very you can only get it at the exchange. So that's very true. And it's but I think the point in the case that I was trying to make is that you don't need to exchange your money back into fiat, cryptocurrency into fiat, if you really do believe in fiat. And that's kind of the positive side of taking your money. And I don't recommend putting lots of money on exchange. I do recommend taking your crypto, and I call it spreading the love. But secure your love. I mean, it's just like anything in the world. Like if you really love somebody, you're gonna take care of them. You're gonna make sure that the relationship sticks. Same with your crypto. Spread the love, but make sure you securitize it. Whether it's a paper wallet. I've got a Keep Key, and you can use Coinbase and other ones as well. So just but there are other ways to make money right now. Tons of ways, but you just need to make sure that when you do make the decisions, whether you're investing in an altcoin or back into fiat, realize that, be comfortable with your decision, what you're doing. So, but I think it's a great day, honestly. I think people are eating their words from yesterday. The Telegraph's like, I don't know. It's just my opinion.
I'd like to be there, but I'm just not there yet. It's a nice looking little bounce, and I'm excited for it. And I told people you got to go with percentages. I'm still 30% in. I'm not that bummed about it. I agree. I'm 70% out, so I'm looking for a possible entry, but I'm not sure we're there yet. So
it's a savings account for me. So I don't believe in fiat, but I get paid in fiat. But I've got my own I mean, I do services, so I do like nutrition and health and massage and personal training, but I haven't figured out how to apply cryptocurrency to my platform yet because it's a bit hard right now. But I want to get into that eventually. But what I'm saying is that I take a percentage, like 10%, like you said, of my daily makings or my weekly earnings, and I put that into cryptocurrency because I see it going up, and I don't see the dollar or the euro going up, especially with what just happened in the news. If anybody knows, there's a huge war in Germany versus the government and the border patrol or their militia. They're not supporting the military there, so the euro just dropped.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Oops, looks like we lost your call, but thanks so much for giving us a call. And I would agree, if you don't want to be in Bitcoin, you could try those exchange coins, like he said. There's also Bittrex is offering USD now. Again, you'd have to hold that in the exchange. Or if you wanted to go to a different kind of exchange, you could go to Vaultoro. A friend of mine runs that, and you can trade Bitcoin for gold at Vaultoro, and then you can hold kind of like a piece of virtual gold at Vaultoro. But once again, if you're buying gold, then you're wagering in the gold market. If you're buying fiat, then it's wagering in the fiat market. So interesting stuff. And we were talking in the chat. They said, "Is it a good time to buy?" And to that, I'd say it's always a good time to dollar cost average. So if you had, say, $100 you were about to invest in Bitcoin, don't put it all in all at once. Put $10 in a week for the next 10 weeks. You'll just get a different result. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network.
Sorry, it's Ricardo. I just wanted to say one more thing. I think I got disconnected.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, if you guys are looking to buy in right now, don't use the graphing systems. Just, do your due diligence and take a scale out and look at Bitcoin 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, and make your decisions on that rather than, freaking out and selling it all because it's dropping, or, getting excited in buying it right now when it could be dropping more in the next 48 hours. So anyways, Thomas, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Your show's incredible.
Thanks so much. Thanks for your call. Give us a call anytime.
Peace.
And enjoy Paris. Paris is the best. I've got a museum still to go to in Paris. I went to some of the big ones, and I saved some of the big ones for another time. I also have museums to go to in Germany. In Berlin, they have a whole museum island. And I was just kind of museumed out by the time I got to Berlin. So I was going to save those museums for next time. Enjoy your local communities. Maybe you live somewhere that I would think is cool, but you're bored with it. Go do something you haven't done in a while. Go to a museum or an aquarium, bowling alley, whatever you got. Go somewhere, have some fun. Don't be all sad all the time. The price is up and down, whatever. Enjoy your local communities. It's a good place to live no matter where it is. But Paris is probably a better place. I don't know. But we were talking about Samson Mao, and he was debating Roger, and Roger went out with the whole dead babies thing and just kind of lost all his credibility. And then Samson mopped up after that. But I would just like to see Samson improve his game. There's a lot of basic ways of explaining this, especially things like the Bcash and the Bitcoin Cash, how they're trying to take the name of Bitcoin. And even if you support big blocks, I don't know how you could support taking someone's name. But then again, they would argue that the Bitcoin Core side has taken their name. So there is a bit of a debate there. So there it goes. We're watching the price of Bitcoin at $6,744. We're at about 850. Had a couple of calls this morning, but we might end towards the end of the show. Scott's got it right in the chat. He says, dead babies is like bringing up Hitler in an argument. You know you lose when you do that. And I totally agree with that. That's, I think it's Godwin's law, something like that, that whenever you bring up Hitler in an argument on the internet, you automatically lose. This can make it very difficult to discuss World War II. But I'd say for all other arguments, he's dead on there. So probably going to go ahead and close down the calls for today and give you just a little bit of my novel. Not the best novel in the world, not the worst novel in the world. It's a fun little book called To Satoshi with Love. And it's about a world where Satoshi is a pink space alien. He's crashed his spaceship into John Front's house. He's met John Front's friend Mara, who works at Chain River. And the two of them are trying to find out if this pink space alien can really prove that he's Satoshi Nakamoto. Also, Donald Trump is running for president, and he just might be involved in the plot. Let's find out more. Oh, we're way back at the beginning. That's no good. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Where did we leave off? Strategy meeting. Yes. Let's see. Your spaceship is shaped like an Ethereum. Let's see. Okay. All right. So last time they were just going to bed, and the next day they were going to have Satoshi prove that he really was the creator of Bitcoin. As the book says, Gavin Andreessen himself was fooled by Craig Wright into thinking that he was Satoshi. So you can bet that Mara is going to be checking things extra close when this pink space alien tries to prove that he created Bitcoin. We were sitting near the parking structure outside the Panera Bread off Geary Boulevard. It was a cement monument to overconstruction. A Target, a Best Buy, a mattress shop, a few places to eat, and enough parking to satisfy demand. I was sipping a soda and playing pinball on my phone, enjoying the festivities and the sunshine for a change. The wrappers from our sandwiches were strewn about the table. Mixed in the packaging for the brand new Chromebook, which was now getting a severe working in by Satoshi and Mara as they raced to install Linux in a way they both agreed was clean, so that Satoshi could prove to her something he'd already proven to me, that he was indeed the creator of Bitcoin, that the creator of Bitcoin was an alien. Hey man, awesome costume, some random surfer dude looking guy. Thanks, Satoshi said with a smile, not looking up from the keyboard. We told him that no one in San Francisco would care. Not normally, and especially not this close to Halloween. People here love wearing costumes, even when they're just being themselves. All right, I'm ready, he said. Finally, the moment of truth, I said, looking at Mara. It all comes down to this. Satoshi examined the key from his USB drive, which was plugged into my laptop, and verified once more that it was typed correctly into the brand new, never been used computer which Mara herself had purchased from Best Buy, which itself had been quite a scene. She'd demanded Bitcoin from Satoshi to cover the costs, and he said he didn't have any. She was quite shocked to hear this as he destroyed the keys, and she demanded proof of that too. But as you know, it's so difficult to provide evidence of absence. The key matched, and Satoshi pressed enter. Bullshit, she said. Bullshit, she said again. The key checked out, but she still didn't believe it. Ack, this is impossible. She's impossible. Why does Chain River even employ you if you can't accept proof of this quality? I'm not doubting your math. I just think there must be some angle, some way that I'm not looking at it that you've figured out, that you've fixed, and that's why it's fake. I'm sure if someone smarter like Max Gregwell was here, he'd figure it out. So I've just made an elaborate double prank to fool you into thinking that a pink alien named Satoshi invented Bitcoin. What's really going on here? I said. There is one thing we haven't tried yet, she said. Oh yeah? What's that? We could cut him open. Hey, Satoshi said, come on, you can't be serious. There's no way you faked the inside. What have you really got going on in there? 2 hearts or something? Satoshi looked really mad. I'm putting my foot down. I'm not allowing any alien autopsies or anatomy lessons of myself. What would that prove anyway? Mara pouted with her lip extended, quivering. Her blue eyes sparkled. Not even for me? No, not even for you. Satoshi crossed his arms. I do have one more idea on how we could get inside your head. Oh yeah? What's that? And it better not be brain surgery, Satoshi said. Do you code? Mara said. And that's about it for a quick reading of To Satoshi with Love. Remember, if you like this show and you like calling in and hearing about books and discussing everything from both sides, playing devil's advocate, you could donate some Bitcoin right now to the QR code on your screen. Thanks so much to our recent donors. We did have donations yesterday. It was excellent. I don't know if we'll have donations today. Fingers crossed. And you can always subscribe at the Patreon on follow us on Twitter at Mad Bitcoins or patreon.com/WCN or patreon.com/Mad Bitcoins. You can donate with as little as $5 a month to support the show. And like the caller said, if 1,000 people did it at $5 a month, that would be $5,000. And I wouldn't have to fundraise so much. So that would be great if you want to subscribe to the Patreon. Or if you've got a bunch of Bitcoin and you bought it early, you could always just send all of it to this address. You could just drop $1 million right here to see what happens. That's what I would do if I was a billionaire. I would be like, what's that mad Bitcoins guy going to do? I'd bet that he makes videos because that's what I do anyway. But thanks so much for joining us. Had a great time. I'll try to catch you guys later, maybe with some Bitcoin Talk Show After Dark if there's time. We've got a great interview tomorrow coming up with Shem Booth Spain and Saifedean Animos. Bitcoin Standard author, very cool guy. And we also have an interview tomorrow, Wednesday morning. We'll be talking to my friend Justin, who's been working on a new project. I think it's with, I screw this up all the time. I'm screwed up, but it's a smart contracts platform that's built on top of Bitcoin. I think it's RSK, Rootstock. I don't know. I confuse all these platforms, but he's got a really cool project built on the smart contracts platform that's built on top of Bitcoin. It's going to be really neat. We're going to get you a live demo of that tomorrow. So check that out. Be sure to subscribe down below to the World Crypto Network. And until next time, bye-bye.